All right. Good morning, Saturday. Good morning, Facebook. Hope you're well. Thank you, by the way, those of you that are chiming in your questions. I appreciate them. Appreciate you. Happy Saturday. The birds are happy. They're awake and alive. And I don't think they're struggling with food, eating right, or working out. They have to fly around and find their food. So today we're going to do something a little bit different in the Daily Dose. I'm actually going to answer your questions live. So if you have them, I want you to also, you can post them down here in the chat below. I have my computer on the side. It took me a few moments, so I do apologize. I'm a few minutes after 9 getting on here. And I do apologize. I'm usually 8 a.m., 99% of the time, 8 a.m. I had to take a call at 8 o'clock. And a really important call. And not that you're not important, but you are. And I want to today do something a little different. Sometimes we do gratitude Saturdays, and for me to express my gratitude for those of you who are following, I want to be able to be as helpful as possible. I want to give you some time with me to ask questions. And I'm going to, while you come up, if you're coming on live, I'll mention this a few times. If you're catching the replay, please ask your questions as well. I'll do my best to answer them in the comments below if you happen to miss this live. But for now, I'm going to take the questions as they come, and I'm going to just start off. So without kind of further prolonging this, let's get this thing rolling. I asked earlier about a half hour ago, when it comes to eating right and working out, where do you struggle most? And as a health and fitness expert, having 25 years experience in personal training, I'll give you in a 20-second version. I went to school for physical therapy, studied it. Took longer than I expected. Worked in an orthopedic hospital for 5 years. Worked in actually a nursing home as well as orthopedics and spine and rheumatology. And I was the guy who would get people up out of bed after a knee replacement or hip replacement and say, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, it's time to get up. It's time to walk." And then I also was working in the number one fitness center in New York City called the New York Sports Club, and I taught spinning and kickboxing and boxing. And I really kind of launched my personal training, my love for helping people in prevention. And I also then proceeded to do personal training for the next, really, I've been doing it for over 25 years. In-person personal training. I owned a gym, had personal trainers. And again, it's just to share with you a bit of my experience. I've been in the trenches for quite a while. Also, believe it or not, and I'm not even a golfer, but I worked in golf fitness. I was really the only golf fitness expert in the area here at the time. Now it's a little bit more mainstream. You saw all the best golfers in the world, but really wasn't my passion. So my passion was more for helping moms and dads, and that's where I'm at now and online. But I had a gym for 6 years. I had personal trainers, we had a boot camp. In fact, typically at this time, about 5 years ago, we would be yelling at people to do more push-ups and burpees and sledgehammer smashes and things like that. So with that, I actually have had a lot of experience in helping people as far as eating right, to working out and everything in between. So now we're going to go into the questions just to give you kind of a little background, because if you're new to following me, you may want to know kind of like, who's this guy? Why should I be listening to him about eating right and exercise? Let's talk about eating healthy consistently. Yes, Deb, that's a big one. Consistency is really a challenging one. I'll just say one of the thing that resonated with me when you asked this question was really having a goal in mind. Like, I think sometimes the hard thing about eating consistent is actually not setting a goal for yourself, because then you have a purpose and a plan you make. Eating consistently is the plan. Like, you want to eat consistently, but what does it look like? What are you trying to achieve? Maybe writing a list of things that get in the way, things that maybe you do well with, and start working. I always like to think when it comes to eating consistently is to actually acknowledge the areas that make you cause you not to eat healthy or eat consistently healthy. And then to really work from the bottom, like work from the bottom of the tree, start plucking. I always say, like, the lowest hanging fruit, right? The ripest fruit, things that you know you can actually take and start to change early. And as you start to build up, don't try to tackle the hardest things. Maybe the weekend's the hardest thing. Maybe not tackling the hardest thing. Maybe tackling how can you make the week better? How can you encourage yourself to eat healthier during the week? And then gradually, maybe it's one meal over the weekend, so forth, so on. So that would be really kind of a quick advice on there. As far as celebrating sweet and salt cravings and energy level. Well, they definitely go hand, Jennifer, on that. They definitely go hand in hand as far as energy levels and sweet and salt cravings, because what happens when you satisfy those sweet and salty cravings, typically your body, if you take in too much, your body physiologically has to break down the food, and sometimes you have like that sweet crash. It's always easy to think of something like, now you might not be a soda person, but or like say a candy bar, or maybe one of those like sweet, like delicious Starbucks type of frappuccinos and things, and they taste good and they maybe pep you up. The sugar lasts only a short amount of time, and then you crash, right? And the other thing related to energy levels as far as the cravings, and I'm just going to connect the two together. I'm not going to talk about sleep and all those types of things, but they can affect your moods. Like you feel good and then you feel bad, and you feel good and you feel bad, or you satisfy the craving and then you realize it really wasn't satisfying except for the time that you ate them, and then that causes you to feel bad, right? I think a lot of times the energy level can be misconstrued to feeling bad about yourself for satisfying, let's say, a sweet tooth, or going after ice cream late at night, or maybe eating a bag of chips. It's not so much the energy level as that the energy level happens to diminish because you just feel bad about yourself. And when you start thinking about food as being good food or bad food, that's a whole nother topic to discuss. But ideally, food is food. Food is neither bad or good. Now, yes, there's obviously choices that would probably be better for you, but if we can kind of just remove the label of food being good or bad, and for instance, let's just say you were on a deserted island and you had two things on the island to eat, and you had a bag of spinach. Let's just say a bag of spinach, and you could only eat that the rest. If you had a bag of spinach and ice cream, what would you choose? Well, ice cream. You would think of, oh, no, well, spinach is healthy. Ice cream's not good for you. Well, in that case, if you're actually on a deserted island, ice cream would be your best choice because it has fat, has sugar, has protein in it, and that would actually keep you alive. So if you can consider that something that would be just food. Now, of course, it goes way into more of that, but just if we can get out of the mindset of saying this is bad and this is good, because then what happens when you eat the sweet and salt cravings and you satisfy that, and then you're like, that was bad. That was bad for me. I shouldn't have had that ice cream. I shouldn't have had that bag of chips. I shouldn't have had those cookies. And then what happens? The energy levels go down because then you feel bad about yourself for making that bad choice, right? Or making what you think of as a bad choice. So that's that, Jennifer. Hope that helps. And if it does, shoot me a message. Say hello. I want this to be social interaction. This isn't about just a viewing. Don't be just a voyeur. You can go do that on Netflix. If you want, just turn this off, go on Netflix. I'm giving you live right here. This is live, you and me right now. People pay money to consult with me. They do that, but I want to provide some value to you other than just you hearing me talk. So let's go from that. And this is a daily dose. If you haven't noticed, we're almost at 200 daily doses every single day. So you want to know something that I would say is my superpower. Now, I definitely have those sweet and salt cravings. And actually, one of the other things I can tell you is just keep them out of your house. At the end of the day, the more you have to work to get to that salty or sweet craving, the harder it's going to be for you, and you may just give up trying, right? So if you don't have that stuff in your house, that's a thing that I actually have struggled with. But I would say one of the things that I want you to know about me, I would say it's more of my superpower, is that I am consistent. And I wasn't even planning to do the daily dose for more than maybe a month or so. But since the world has been consistent keeping us shut down for months and months and months, I'm going to be as consistent as I can. 200 almost episodes later, we might have to do something big, throw a party. All right, so next one, Carly Luke, celebrate too much liquid calories. So with liquid calories and skipping meals to balance it out, it happens all the time. I hear that all the time. Yes. But at the end of the day, it's what you're fueling your body with. Yes, I love it, making memories and stuff. And I would say is the habit, it happens, and again, even myself included, is where you put the memory making and saying it's all these good memories, which can happen with or without liquid calories, correct? Maybe on the front end, it looks like, oh, well, gosh, we're just enjoying to have some cocktails and having fun and all that stuff. And I would say is when that comes down to it is, can't the fun, my question, and I've asked myself this many times, can't the fun come without the liquid calories? Like, is it a habit that it takes liquid calories, let's just call it for what it is, alcohol, right? Beer, wine, cocktails, shots, whatever it is, Jello shots, beer, all those types of things. does it require alcohol to make the memories? Because I would say is that the memories are, maybe if I look back at all the memories that I had, yes, there were some memories that had alcohol in there, but I would say it's more the time I spent with the people, enjoying the time. It's not so much actually, because I don't really think about the alcohol being the fun. I think of the actual time we spent. So with the balancing out of liquid calories, the hard thing is it's never going to balance out that way. There's never a balance when you're actually replacing, say, a healthy meal with liquid calories. The reality is it's kind of like going to the gas station and filling up. Let's just say you had a diesel truck and you filled it with regular gasoline. I mean, the reality is it's going to break down. Your body's it's going to probably die out, right? Not to say you'll die if you have, well, the potential you could with liquid calories, but that's a whole nother topic. But I would say is if you start fueling your body with what it doesn't need and it doesn't require, our body doesn't require alcohol. I'm not going to knock it again, and I'll have a cocktail here or there. But it is to say that unfortunately liquid calories doesn't serve our bodies really well. It might on the front end and enjoy it and get that buzz and kind of break break up the way we feel about what's going on and the stress in the world and anxiety. But at the end of the day, you have to go back for more because it's never fully satisfying. So hopefully that helped. And I don't know if that was maybe a little bit more of a vague answer, but just in general with liquid calories, we really never will balance it. There is never a balance with skipping meals. I mean, maybe it's with junk food and liquid calories, but in essence, if you're trying to be healthier, then nothing will balance out a healthy meal from a healthy meal. Carb cravings, Garissa. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, Garissa. And anyway, sorry. I will get it right. Feel free to share with me how you pronounce it if you want in there. The taste of beer, Carly Luke. Yes, the taste of beer. Absolutely. You know, what's really interesting, and I'll just kind of follow up because I saw you put that in there. As far as the taste of beer, it's something I've learned, and it's interesting that it really never tastes better the more you have. Like, that's honestly the truth. It may have the appearance of tasting better, but like it's this is a long time ago, and mind you, when my wife and I got married, we had the privilege to go on a honeymoon, and we went to California and then to Hawaii, and it was beautiful. We had an amazing time. And I'll never forget, we were at the small vineyard, and I remember the owner of the vineyard mentioned, here at this vineyard, it was kind of like uppity. We felt like we were important, and we felt we knew wine after going to the vineyards, right? Like everybody does. They go one time and they're like now a wine connoisseur. What is it? A sommelier. I think that's how you pronounce it. Actually, I was talking that with one of my team members the other day. So with that, he said, well, here we enjoy our wine. We don't drink wine here. And I know that's kind of funny, right? Yeah, you enjoy it. And it's actually been something I've built in a habit, is to just enjoy a beer. Enjoy the taste of a glass of wine. You know, you can enjoy one glass of wine with a meal. To me, you know, 3 or 4, I never after say, oh, it was so much, I tasted so much better 3 or 4 bottles, 3 or 4 glasses in. So that's something in there. Let's go into carb cravings. Sorry, Garissa. With carb cravings, yes, carb cravings. Here's actually one of the things that's really, really helpful. Typically, if you are making meals at home, at the end of the day, it's what you bring in the house. Like, carb cravings are going to be there, and I would say it's easier to satisfy those carb cravings when they're readily accessible. The biggest, I would say one of the best ways you can prevent the carb cravings. Now, if you're out and about, that's probably hard to do. And if you're around people that just eat a lot of carbs, that's also hard. You have to be careful, the saboteurs out there. But also, one of the big things is to just not have what you know is going to get in the way in your home. I mean, I know all the pushback from a lot of people, especially moms and dads, is, well, I have kids and they want chips and they want the cookies, and I don't want to deprive them and make them only eat. Well, why not? I would say here we have not too much. We've actually, even in our kids are now asking for healthier options. It's kind of funny when we do bring home a bag of chips for, say, Mexican night or something like that. It's something that when it's here, when it's readily accessible. Now, the holidays are coming up, and we'll be talking about some things. And I actually have a really amazing thing I'm building out now, and I may share it with you in due time. But for now, if you bring the carbs home, then it's going to be easily to crave them and want to go after. If you have ice cream in your freezer versus having to go out and have ice cream, chances are it's going to be it's going to be a struggle for you to try to withhold yourself from digging in the freezer and grabbing the ice cream. So I always say, now, if you say, well, what about my kids? I don't want my kids to or, I have like my husband likes the ice cream. Well, make him go out for the ice cream. I say, don't have the ice cream in the house. Make the ice cream an actual effort to go out and have. Now, it's kind of ironic too. I have two things. I'm going to share this with you. Two things that are the closest. Now, we live close to a town center here where we can walk to restaurants, but the two closest things to my west right here, literally a block and a half away, is a McDonald's. I kid you not, there's a McDonald's right there. Now, I'm not a McDonald's person. I haven't eaten at McDonald's in I don't even know how, so many years. I've gone through there for Redbox when they used to have Red Boxes to get the movies out. And maybe I've gone through for like a coffee, but other than the food, it's been years and years and years. But McDonald's right there, that's the fast food. And then there's an ice cream place. Oh my goodness. There's an ice cream place that's like literally within 2 blocks of me. The closest things. But it's still an effort to have to go there. And I would say if you don't have it in the house, to actually even have to get up and go and walk, you're like, oh, no, Mark, I would go there every night. I know people that do. It's crazy. So that would be my helpful advice for carb cravings. I hope that helped. As far as both and food, okay, those are general. Let's see if there's any more specific ones. Getting out of my car. As far as exercise. All right, so working out, getting out of your car. And I don't know if that's being just in jest, just kind of joking as far as if it's physically being able to get out of the car. I'm not quite sure on there. I'm not sure what that question is, but let's go to somebody who maybe has a little more specific, and I'll come back. If you, Dorothy, if you get on here and you have a little more specifics, I can maybe answer that for you. If it's literally like physically getting out of your car, is it getting out of your car to go to the gym or just getting out of your car? Well, there's lots of things you can do. You can put a lift underneath if it's actually hard to get in and out, or maybe change the car that you're driving, or maybe just get out of the car and just walk. All right, Rick. All right, here's a lengthy one. Let's see. Eating is always the biggest challenge for me. Most people, whether they want to admit it or not. Eating. Yeah, I mean, hands down, it's a no-brainer. I say it's a no-brainer. While eating healthy is simple, it's just not easy to do, right, at the end of the day. Started a cut to lower my body fat recently. The gym, go to his in-body scan machine. I'm getting scanned each week to keep me honest. Been at it 2 weeks, down almost 2% body fat so far, trying to lose a little fat and gain more muscle. I lost during lockdown. Yeah, that's good. And it sounds like you're on the right path, but eating is a challenge. And I would say what happens is we're just, I hate to break it to people, but the reality is that we want instant, right? We want instant gratification. Our world has been such a way, we have instant access, right? You can look it up. We have the instant access. In fact, everybody has instant access to 1 billion different meal plans for free. Google whatever you want for free. Exercises, you can get workouts on demand, Google, YouTube for free. Access, like boom, 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 boom. You can go up and say, I want to do a yoga workout. Boom, you can do it for free. I want to do a boot camp. Boom, you can find one for free. You can print it out. You can have this. Nutrition, you can type it in. Boom, for free. You can say, I want a meal plan for paleo. Boom, I want the best keto. Boom, free, instant. And like within seconds, right? Depending on how fast your internet is. Instant. You want an answer, you Google search, right? You want an answer, you boom. Here, it's so quick and easy. But the hard thing is eating being the biggest challenge. It actually, because we eat a meal. And unfortunately, sometimes we feel, and we've been kind of coaxed into believing that the quick fixes, that you see people coming. And the last couple of people I've talked to on calls, and they're interested in working with me, is that they're telling me about all the things that they've tried. And they've tried everything. And I mean, I think the last 5 calls, one of them, I would say we didn't really even get to that far because it was more in an exercise standpoint. But I would say is with nutrition, we've tried all the quickest, easiest things. I know, I see people post. I know it's going to happen again. The new year's going to come and people are going to be sold into believing whatever the next best thing is, the these shakes and the this plan and the this program, and the Weight Watchers has something new. And I know now the new, not to knock it, they all will work. Noom, I think, is the new thing, and whatever else. And hey, I've spent a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there. and you want like the quick, and you see people's results, even people coming, looking into my program and seeing all the results I'm getting with coaching clients. But the reality is there's investment in time. It takes time to build a healthy relationship with food. That's the bottom line is that's it. There's a relationship that has to happen. Just like, hey, it's kind of like if now I've been dating my wife for the last 20 years, and thankfully it is one wife, and 20 years later, and I'll tell you what, it's still work. We still have to work at it. We still have to be intentional. With eating is no different. Whether there's a lockdown, whether there's a pandemic, whether you have anxiety, stress, fear, whether you lost your job, you got a promotion, at the end of the day, we still need to eat. So to your, the biggest challenge, Rick, you're absolutely right. The biggest challenge is, for most people, is with eating. And what happens is, since we have instant access to find all those things, we have also, for the most part, most Americans who are listening here now, have instant access. We can drink as much as we want. We can eat as much as we want. We have the Whole Foods and the fresh markets and the grocery stores, and we have delivery. We don't even have to walk out of our house now to get groceries. You don't even have to burn a calorie. It makes me think of that movie, WALL-E, if you've ever remembered that movie. Like, if you think, and maybe that's a movie to watch again, is that going to watch that movie WALL-E, where you see the people who are just sitting in these like little kind of carts that they're like they float in the air, and they push a button and the food shows up, kind of like the Jetsons, right? Where we don't have to, it's almost getting to that point like the Jetsons. Like, am I wrong or am I wrong? Where you don't even have to get out of your house. Now, forget about like putting your car, in the furthest part in the parking lot and walk into the grocery store. You don't even have to go to the grocery store anymore. Heck, I don't know how many Amazon deliveries that come to our house a day. It's crazy. We're getting this. So we have to be even more intentional about that. It's becoming even more of a challenge because the obstacle is now we're encouraged not to move anymore. We're encouraged to stay at our home. We're encouraged not to get fresh air. We're encouraged to all these things. It's a struggle. There's a reason why not just in the COVID fight per se, is that we're not encouraged to move anymore. There's not a need. Look, jobs, my job even included. I don't have a gym. I don't have to go to the gym. I do my entire business through my phone. The good news is I've already solidified my habits. Now, it's still a struggle. I mentioned to you the other day that I still struggle because I do a lot of work online. So I'm sitting down. But I would say it has to be intentional. So I know that was a little lengthy, but I hope that helped, Rick. And munchies at night. Yes. Okay. Getting out of my chair. So that's the other one, munchies at night. And then as far as Whitney, yeah, I'll jump in there in a moment. Munchies at night. Yeah. That's a big one. So here's the thing. There's no munchies at night if you got nothing to munch on at night. Plain and simple. Like you're basically shooting yourself in the foot, and you're saying, Mark, I hear it all the time, by the way. Vicky, that's the question that comes up all the time, is people say, Mark, I have the late night munchies. Well, again, it comes to, are you getting out of, your house and getting in your car and going? And now I know people that have done this, and getting in your car and going to like a drive-through late at night when nobody can see you. Like that may be the case but most of the time when it comes to the munchies at night, you're just going into your kitchen, you're going into your pantry, you're getting the snacks, even maybe some of the things that you hid, there's a relationship that's going on there with food. And unfortunately, you have to keep coming back to those munchies at night because it didn't fully satisfy you. Like that could be where you have to really reframe, like, what is it that is not satisfying you at night? And maybe it's the dinner. Maybe, I know a lot of people that diet and they're not eating really much through the day at all. They're not eating enough protein. Their body's not satisfied with the whole fresh foods that they're really ideally should be eating. And they're left hungry at night, and then the munchies come. It's a bad habit. Or you get to where you're bored, or you start to watch TV and you watch the news and you watch debates, and it gets you stressed. And stress is a hard thing for us to all handle, but what do we tend to do is tend to go through, because we can't control stress, but we can control the munchies, and we can control the snacks in the evenings. And unfortunately, what happens is, oh, well, like, I'm really stressed. I don't understand. And then you go online, you go on Facebook, you see your friends post something, it's in opposition for somebody that maybe is a different political viewpoint, or they're angry, or maybe they're sad, or there's some bad news in the family, you have a health problem, and then you want to go towards what we hear, comfort foods or comfort snacks. And you know what? They're only comforting the time you eat them. The reality is, like, it's short-lived. But our minds think that that's going to be what's going to satisfy. And you know what? We always come up empty. In fact, it almost comes back to the first thing, whereas eating the energy levels and cravings, and then you start to feel, we talked about good food and bad food, of feeling bad about yourself after. And then what happens is a downward spiral, because you feel bad about yourself, and then what will feel better? Is some snacky foods, and the cravings in the evenings or the cravings on the weekend. So I would say there's a reframe that has to happen in there, and I hope this helped. By the way, if this helped, please interact with me. I see some of you watching still. I would love you to actually interact, not stand behind your screen. I've made it a point to not stand behind, well, yes, I stand behind my screen, but live, to provide as much value as I can to you, and some of the experience that I've had from working. Again, this is not just my opinion. This is actually working with thousands of people over the years, thousands and thousands. I mean, in the gym alone, back when I was in New York, I worked with thousands of people in the group fitness. I can't even tell you how many classes I taught. Hundreds, and probably it was thousands of group classes. Personal training clients, I've had hundreds and hundreds of personal training clients. When I had the gym, we serviced hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Even now online, it's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and it comes back to a lot of the same things that I'm very familiar with, and I know strategies. In fact, why I come on here is for you to get to know me, because you know that I know what I'm talking about, and I can help you over any kind of app, over any kind of quick fix, over any kind of new and improved weight loss shake, or some sort of a network marketing scheme that's going to try to pull you in and make you start a business. Hey, I know people need to start business, have at it. But I know for a fact that none of those are really permanent solutions. So making sure I work out nils and munchies. Okay, so I'm going to ask this one, and this will be the last one. I think I've exhausted my time on here, and I hope it was helpful. Share this with somebody. Come on live. Ask me more questions. If you're coming on and getting this a replay, just send a question down, and I'll do my best to answer it in a sentence or two. If you want to get on a call and actually get something to the next level where it's actually more serious, because I can give you advice here, but actually following through with it and doing it, again, you have access to all the material you need to get in the best shape of your life, right? So why aren't you? Why are you still struggling with the 40, 50 pounds? I have this question all the time with people. Why are you struggling still to eat healthy? Well, I think a big role is that you don't have outside eyes looking in, and you don't have accountability. There's no accountability. Like, here's the thing, like teachers, like if you're in college, now maybe some of you might be in college, but you have kids that are in school right now, or college, or you have, there's accountability. You have kids that I think maybe in the season of some of you on here have kids that have their own kids, and they're dependent on their parents, because their parents are going to hold them accountable for things. As a parent, I'm holding my kids accountable to do their work. There's accountability. They'll be in trouble. If they don't do their chores, they'll be in trouble. Like they will actually have to face the consequences. Same thing with nutrition. Same thing with eating healthy. Same thing with exercise. If there's no accountability set up, there's no reason to do it. Like if my kid didn't have a teacher that was over him saying, you got to do your homework, or we have a tutor that comes every once in a while to help with some of the testing. If there's nobody set up for accountability, are you really going to get there quicker? No, it's barely going to happen. So eating healthy, unfortunately, not to say you need a babysitter, because I'm not a babysitter, but having accountability, having structure, having outside eyes. I have coaches in my life that I can tell you, I'll tell you, even answering these questions, there's nothing like having a pair of outside eyes who's been through it and done it already knows the problems that are going to happen, has already been there. And as a 48-year-old male who's in the season of my life where it's hard to lose weight, it's hard to eat healthy. I love pizza. I don't like ice cream so much, but I like chocolate too. We can't have it in our house. I can't have it. I can't, like even alcohol I would say is, even if I were to have more than say 1 or 2 drinks, what happens? I shared this about alcohol the other day. 1 or 2 with a friend, 1 or 2 drinks after, then guess what? I just want to eat all the good food, have a nice little buzz going. It's like, yeah, I'll have the snacks, I'll just deal with it tomorrow. And guess what? Then the weight went up. Like I look at pizza now and I think I put on 5 pounds. I don't know if you feel me on this, but Full agreement, Whitney. Thank you. Food is a necessity. Nutrition is also important. Yeah, I mean, it's straightforward knowledge. It's a matter of like we're all concerned with our health by, let's just say, not getting sick and cold. Well, why don't we work on starting now? Not to say that I'm not discounting that, and our world right now needs to be extra careful on how we are to prevent ourselves from getting sick. But what about getting well? Like everybody talks about like healthcare and getting sick and all this stuff. How about getting well? Like forget about not getting sick. How about getting well? How about getting better? How about improving? You're not too old. It's not too late. You know, if I have a parent who's now I have two parents and one isn't as healthy as the other, and that's okay, I'll admit it. But I'll tell you what, it's for me, I'm more attracted to the one parent that is actually getting well, getting better, making improvements, doing the best they can at the season of life they're in, and you can too. But it does help to having accountability. It does help to have outside eyes. It does make it easier in your life all the way around when you have accountability set up. And for some of you, maybe I'm the person you need to be in your life right now to hold that accountability for you, right? And maybe it is till you build the habits. Maybe it is you don't even know how to build the right habits. Maybe your habits are snacking at night, eating salty and sweet foods, not exercising, maybe having a hard time getting munchies at night. What else is there? Eating healthy, you know, what were the other things? Liquid calories. You know, at the end of the day, you still have those choices to make, but when you have accountability set up and you have a plan and maybe have some goals back to eating healthy consistently with Deb started, and we'll just finish it there, is set some goals. Like I honestly feel at the end of the day, the big starting point could be setting some really lofty goals for yourself. What do you want to achieve? Where do you want to be in the next 5 years with your health? Do you want to be at the doctor's office every day? Do you want to be injecting steroids and pain medication, popping pills? My wife's a nurse practitioner. She tells me all the time how many people that she sees that are just popping pills and smoking weed and doing all these things, but not taking care of them. I mean, they're doing that because of maybe pain, but they're not taking care of themselves. Because there's like they're just kind of going through life, kind of like mediocre. Like who wants to live a mediocre life? I don't. If you're still watching me, you probably know that by now. And I don't want anybody that's following me really to want that either. Again, if you're wanting mediocre, I'm probably not the guy you want to be listening to or watching. So you can go back to watching Netflix and hanging out. And don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Netflix, but just sitting around doing nothing. Just like, one day I'll take care of my weight. One day I'll start to eat healthier. Like one day, why not today? Why is today the day that you can't start? That's my question to you. All of these things, right? They're pretty straightforward. They're not questions that I haven't heard before, and they're probably not questions that you haven't had before. It's just a matter if you're looking for just comfort in, saying, yeah, that's good. I understand that. But you don't do anything about it. Action is what, at the end of the day, it takes. For all these questions, you have to take action on it. If you don't know how to take action, then get help for somebody that can help you take action on it. And I'm just one. If you want to know what that's like, send me a message. We'll get on a call. I have a call. Set up a strategy call with me. I'll do a little fitness audit. We'll see where you're at. We'll take it from there. I'm not the right fit. Please don't book a call. I'm just going to say this right now. Don't book a call if you're not serious. Don't book a call if you don't want to invest in yourself. I even have it in my application process. If you think this is some kind of $99 deal, $29 deal, this is my livelihood. 25 years of experience isn't me asking for $25 from you. Sorry, that's just not where I'm at. It's not for the faint of heart, because I am going to push buttons and get you to the level that you've never gotten before. But that requires an investment in two things, in time and your resources. And if you don't have the resources, unfortunately, again, I'm just upfront and open. There's lots of cheap, inexpensive ways to lose weight and to even get in shape. You can have a $10 gym membership. You can have some app on your phone. You can buy a $100 watch to keep track of your calories. You can go on Weight Watchers. You can do the HCGs. You can go look up the quickest ways to lose weight. There's plenty of options. I'm not any of those options. Please let me just share that with you. I'm not one of those options. I'm actually an expert in my field. I have well more than 10,000 hours. Now, I might not be the right fit for you, but I would say is you have to come to the table ready to work. You have to come to the table with resources to be able to invest in me, because I'm investing time into you. And again, if it's a good fit, then it's a no-brainer if it's a good fit. And I'm not the right fit. So even the call could be for you to find out what would be the right fit. And I will do my best to help point you in the right direction. And maybe one of my colleagues, I'm involved with a mastermind group of amazing entrepreneur colleagues that are online fitness business coaches. about 150 of them, maybe some more, 160 or so. And we happen to have the #1 business coach in the world. Vince Damani, he's the #1 fitness business coach in the world. He's working with some of the best that are changing lives on a magnitude level, like an immense level all across the globe. And there is a movement going on of people. And look we're having outside eyes on our businesses, and it's changing lives. And maybe you're the one that needs now the outside eyes looking in at the business of your health. And if that's the truth, reach out to me, send me a message. You can just say, hey, let's get on a call. Let's do this. All you got to do, literally, let's do this. Send me the message. Let's do this. I want in. And we'll get on a call and we'll see if you're a good fit. That's all I have. Happy Saturday to you. I'm going to go hit the gym and work out and hopefully eat healthy today. Take care and God bless.